We know we truly are in silly season when you do a transfer roundup at the start of the day, and by the time it gets to, 4 o'clock as I record this, it's old. The news is old. Well, actually, to be fair, almost everybody I did discuss yesterday, it's still sort of relevant and pertinent, but there's been a load of new rumours. So what I'll do is I'll leave the Danny Ings thing until tomorrow. We'll deal with the Max Kilman stuff now and the Emerson stuff and possibly a little bit of Jarrod Bowen. Not that I believe that at all because, well, quite frankly, we've all got real football to watch on the telly rather than just talking about it. But I do believe that this Max Kilman thing is getting ahead of steam now. And the reason I believe it is because of the source of the rumour, which, as you'll have seen from the thumbnail, is Fabrizio Romano. Why does he carry so much weight? Well, you can really only assess a transfer in the know by his track record, basically. And I'm in no doubt at all that Romano has got the ear of Tim Steidten. He was the first one to... It's not so much breaking the interest because there was a lot of places that will disclose that we're interested in a player. But actually it's the fine detail. Is he on the plane? When's he signing? What's happening? All of that fine detail stuff Romano seems to know. And it goes back to certainly Mohammed Kudus, Edson Alvarez transfer, certainly Mavropanos. There's no surprise actually that he seemed to know almost nothing about the James Ward-Prowse one. And that was because, well, that was, as you know, a David Moyes transfer, so he wasn't particularly well briefed. So my point is, if he's saying something about West Ham and about transfers, I'm believing it at the moment. Now, what he said today is that West Ham have, and I use his words, concrete interest in Max Kilman. Now, we've been linked with Max Kilman for a long time. In fact, we were linked with Max Kilman when David Moyes was still here. I think you'd probably go back and find transfer rumours from a year and a half ago, something along those lines. So there's been an interest in him, and I guess there's no surprise there at all. I think there's just something, there's something a little bit more real about it now. I don't know if it's Lopetegui coming in, because Lopetegui has obviously worked with Kilman at Wolves. And if you go and look on some of the Wolves fans forums, a lot of them are saying that Kilman was at his best under Lopetegui, and quite possibly he hasn't been the same player since. And last season he just wasn't at the same sort of calibre. We know that Lopetegui likes him. I mean, really, really likes him. And we also know that at some point Lopetegui is going to want to have some influence on player recruitment. All of it? No. A complete overview of it like David Moyes? No. I think he understands his role and he understands that he is the head coach. But I think he's going to want to have some players, and I think this is probably the best way of working within the parameters of this system, where Steidten is allowed a sort of bit of a free rein to go up and hoover up talent. But in terms of an established player to come straight into the first team, if your new manager or head coach, as we're going to call Lopetegui, is going to say that that one player is integral and vital to his system and the way he's going to play, then I do think, it's probably shrewd to back him. Now, when I talk about backing him, not without condition. There has to be some conditions. I think with Max Kilman, he's a young player. He's going to increase in value. He's obviously homegrown. He's Premier League proven. I think you can back somebody like that. I think it's a relatively low-risk transfer if you could get the value at a transfer to something that probably suits everybody. Because at the moment, 45 million does seem a little bit excessive. So I think you back the manager in that, because actually buying the player suits the profile of what the club should be doing anyway. I think if what you want the club to do is go and spend an awful lot of money on somebody who's sort of 28, 29 with no resale value there, who possibly is not going to benefit the next coach that comes along, then there's no point. I think this is something that West Ham have done particularly badly. It doesn't really matter whether it's Lopetegui, whether it's David Moyes, or whether it's somebody else coming in. Max Kilman's a good signing, so I think that's a good thing. And for Romano to be saying, look, West Ham are serious. So what do you say? West Ham's offer is concrete, and we've initiated contact, or contact has started between the two clubs. Now, that still means it's possibly quite a long way away, but we know a couple of things. We know that there's interest from West Ham's side, and we know that there's interest from Lopetegui's side, but what we also know is that Wolves probably need to sell a player or two. I don't think anybody's got a precise knowledge of anybody's accounts and knows exactly how much a club has got to recoup, how many players they've got to sell to fall within the confines of profit sustainability regulations or financial fair play, but we know that Wolves have got to sell someone and do something. I think it's always interesting when you've got a transfer between two Premier League clubs. There aren't too many clubs in world football who would pay £45 million or could pay £45 million for Max Kilman. I think possibly only PSG in France. I think it's a whopping great transfer. I don't think you would, I mean, clearly, if Real Madrid wanted to, then they could do, but they wouldn't be doing it this window because they've, I think their budget's all tied up. There aren't too many. Bayern Munich, yes. The point I'm trying to make is it's really only a Premier League club and not that many of them that could buy this player. So I'm not too worried about someone swooping in and buying him up. I mean, yeah, I guess Tottenham could, but you know what? They're well stocked in that department anyway, so they probably don't need to. And I mean, Van der Ven is an excellent defender, so I just don't think there are too many who would or could do it. So can we get the price down? I'm pretty damn sure we could, yeah. And should we? We absolutely should. We could and we should, basically. So I think there's something to be said about this transfer. We also know that the club are willing to sell Kurt Zouma. It's not even willing. If somebody comes in and can take him off the wage bill for the last year, I think that might be something to consider. I really, really do, because I'd be surprised. Well done. If the club can get a transfer fee with Kurt Zouma, well done. Good negotiating. But as I've mentioned on numerous occasions, if Kurt Zouma passes a medical, I'll be absolutely amazed. The Nathan Gerd thing, well, we know Nathan Gerd, he wants to leave. That's how we understand it. Changed agents, so on and so forth. So the club needs, well, they've said two central defenders. And as of a couple of days ago, they said central defence and striker is our priority. Doesn't mean they won't sign a winger. But so this is sort of ticking all the boxes as a rumour. The source of the rumour, Fabrizio Romano, that ticks that box. It also ticks the box of what the club want, what we can see. It's not just about what we're told by rumours. What we can see with the evidence of our own eyes. We can see we've got a pretty broken defence. We all noticed that last season, absolutely. So we could do with someone else coming in. So I would not be surprised if this transfer happens at all. There are two other things I want to talk about. Jarrod Bowen to Newcastle, and also Emerson Palmieri to AC Milan, I believe. Before I do, can I please just encourage you to go and download Match Bingo. What a great app it is. Look, we don't want to sell you stuff, and we don't want to encourage you to download stuff that's crap. Even since I did my last video, which I published this morning, it's been confirmed we've had another 2 winners on Match Bingo. Match Bingo is an app. You have to use the link below to download it, please. It's an app. You download it to your phone, and it basically mixes up bingo and it mixes up football. When you play a game, and the minimum is, well, I said the minimum cost of a game is actually free, by the way. They do free games, but also the maximum that you can put down as a stake is a £2 stake for a single entry into a game. You can't spend thousands of pounds on this thing. You get a bingo card for a football match, and it gives you 15 incidents that might happen during the game, and it ticks those off for you. We're running all throughout the Euros on that. We've got, I think the Romania game is the next free game. The England game, England against Denmark, is a £2 game, but there's a £500 full house pot. Then there's a bonus full house pot. People are winning this stuff. I think there's over £1,000 worth of prizes on that particular game. So go and check it out. Really, really good stuff. You like your darts, you like your cricket. There's stuff on there. It's a bit of fun, particularly when you're watching the game and you get ping, ping. You can see all this stuff happening. It's simple stuff, like a throw-in gets taken. It ticks off one of the 15 items. Someone hits a post. It ticks off one of the 15 items. You don't know what you're going to get, but it's a little bit of fun. Match Bingo. Link is in the description below. We'd really appreciate it. And they've been absolutely fantastic to work with. And I think I was a bit conservative when I said 50, but at least 50 of you have won on this. It's even more. It really is absolutely brilliant. Look, we'll rush through the Jarrod Bowen stuff because I just think it's, unless something a bit more meaty comes out, I'm not really overly gonna talk about it too much because I don't believe it. Newcastle are interested in Bowen. Well, I believe that. That being said, they've got a lot of wide players there, really. I don't think Newcastle could afford Jarrod Bowen anyway. And I'm not entirely sure Jarrod Bowen would want to go to Newcastle. He seems settled. It's not a case. I'm not even blaming Newcastle for rocking the boat on this one. I guess they don't even have to. There's going to be the media are going to do that anyway. I just can't see this one happening. Look, Jarrod Bowen is our star man. His value has not decreased over the last few days. It's increased as well. I think they've got to recoup some money, as we understand it, Newcastle, and that's just so as they can adhere to the financial regulations. What they're going to do is adhere to them and start buying more players. They have to sell a lot of players, basically. Jarrod Bowen, you wouldn't get Jarrod Bowen I doubt you get Jarrod Bowen for, say, south of 80 million. I really, really doubt it. So Newcastle have got to basically generate and player sales more than that. I just, as I say, can't see it happen. The other link, Gio covered earlier, which of course was Emerson to AC Milan. And as I understand it, he doesn't want to go. You don't know how much of this stuff is true, by the way. He doesn't want to go there while Hernandez is there because he thinks that's going to block his path to being the left back there. How much does Emerson want to go? I don't know. Look, we can't get rid of that player. We really, really can't. He's such an integral part. And actually, when you hear that Lopetegui's coming in, you start watching these videos about how Lopetegui plays, likes his team to play, and you look at the masterclasses and the coaching seminars, and you read all the stuff, you quickly come to the conclusion that Lopetegui's team are very reliant on fullbacks and attacking fullbacks. And actually, the only fullback that I've looked at West Ham and thought, well, hold on, this description of this new head coach that we've got and the fullbacks, the only one I feel matches that is Emerson. So it'd be absolute madness to sell him. I really do think it would be. What it does do is, I think it gives a little bit more credit to the rumours which started yesterday. It was from Jacob Steinberg, wasn't it? And that was for Sessegnon from Tottenham, obviously the former Fulham player. And I thought at the time, I mentioned it in today's video, well, no, this is ridiculous. How could that be? We have Emerson there. We've got hopefully Ben Johnson, who can obviously play at both fullbacks, and we've signed up Aaron Cresswell onto a long. Well, I say a long deal. It was only a year longer, but it keeps him at the club for, well, it's kept him. He's been here forever, basically, hasn't he? And I thought, well, what's the need? We don't need another left back. Why would we get Sessegnon? If this happens, you might start to think, okay, maybe that's it. I mean, I hope not. If you gave me a choice of Sessegnon or Emerson, I'm keeping Emerson. But why would you not? I mean, it's a ridiculous thing to even suggest. I'm sure. Look, maybe you would disagree with me on that. Maybe you'd rather sell Emerson and get Sessegnon. But I think with his injury record, and I'm talking about Sessegnon here, I just don't think. I think it's a bit of a no-brainer, that one. So it's a no for me. Right, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to go and watch the football. Get this uploaded. Don't forget to download Match Bingo. Links in the description below. Every day, just keep looking at it and keep having a look at the games. And you can get your bingo cards every day for every single game throughout the Euros. Get your England one in because it's a boosted pot. It's a boosted, basically transfer kitty, really. I'd say transfer kitty. I don't know what you're going to buy. I don't know what you're going to buy for £1,000. If you won £500 or you won £1,000, who knows? Not a lot of footballer for that, is there? But I tell you what, that might be about as much as Southampton are willing to pay for Danny Ings if the rumours are true.